LaToya, you are up next. Would you like me to show or did you want to show?
I can show.
Okay, perfect.
Hopefully it pulls up the right thing.
That looks like the right one.
Is it showing the full screen now?
No, it isn't. So you just need to click on maybe slideshow.
No, it's not. I have multiple screens. It's just showing the wrong one. What about now?
The right screen is up, but we just don't have it full screen. So if you click
is the full screen showing yet?
Not of the slideshow, it's not.
Huh.
So we can see the thumbnails on the left-hand side. Just click on
what about that? What about now?
Not yet. At the bottom on the right-hand side, there's the little icon that you can just click on for slideshow, or you can go up to slideshow and what do you
I already have the slideshow up, but it's on another screen. That's why I'm trying to show. Let me start again.
Okay.
Let me just do my slideshow and then share. Let's see if that works. Yeah, now it's not letting me. Hold on really quick. I can, hold on one second.
Okay.
Let me change my settings really quick.
Isn't it always the way?
I was hoping it didn't do that, but I am sharing the correct screen. For some reason, it's not. I
mean, it was showing and we could
working.
see the first PowerPoint and all the thumbnails on the left-hand side.
I'm just gonna duplicate and see if that helps.
And then if not, I do have your slide and I can show it.
Yeah. If this doesn't work, then we will do that.
Okay, perfect. Murphy's
Law, I'm
right?
like, I was prepared, I promise. For some reason, it just doesn't. Okay, from the beginning. Let's try this now. Nope, it's still not.
Is it not playing nicely? Let me pull it up for you.
This is, what about now?
No, it's me. I've pulled it up.
Oh, you already pulled it up.
I already pulled it up and I'm going to click on block media. Enable media.
See, that's why I wanted to did it enable it? Okay.
Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm just LaToya, you just say next and I will go to the next.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about 3 remedies for the gym bag. Next slide. My objectives are, by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to recognize some of the common injuries related to mobility and activity, name 3 remedies to address certain acute and chronic injuries, and identify uses for those 3 remedies in your gym bag. Next slide. So first, let's talk about what is acute versus a chronic injury. So an acute injury happens suddenly when a person falls, like when they receive a blow or a twist, they pull a joint or a muscle. It's usually the result of a single traumatic event. And a lot of the times it's associated with severe pain, a broken bone, a muscle tear, or a bruise. Chronic injuries, on the other hand, result from overuse of one area of the body over time. A lot of time they develop gradually, and they can be examples like stress fractures or heel inflammation, like Achilles injuries. So how do we tell the difference between chronic and acute injuries? Signs of an acute injury include sudden severe pain, swelling, the inability to place weight on the lower limb, extreme tenderness in the upper limb. There's an inability to move the joint through its normal range of motion. You may have limb weakness, sometimes a visible dislocation or a break in the bone. And then signs of a chronic injury include there's pain on activity, Usually it's over a prolonged period of time. So sometimes when they're just doing their normal activity or when they're at rest, they have a dull, achy feeling. There may be swelling. So then the difference is the acute injuries usually can heal. I mean, if it's not something like a bone break or something like that, within 2 weeks, and the chronic injuries can last a lifetime, technically. Next slide. So some of the injuries that I'm going to talk about relates to weight training, dancing, boxing, sports, running, and other general activities. I mean, sometimes you're fixing something around the house and you fall or scrape something, and you know, we know that people can get injured from whatever. So next slide. So some of the common injuries and symptoms are disc herniation in the back. So that one, it's a lot common from weightlifting if you don't have the correct form or not paying attention. The symptoms are arm and leg pain. And if it's in your lower back that the disc is pulled, then you may have that pain in your buttocks, thigh, and calves. This happens when the soft center of the disc between the two vertebrae push outward, and it may cause the disc to rupture. And it's similar to that picture I have at the bottom right. That's a picture of a disc herniation, or you know, a visualization. Also, this person can have numbing or tingling and weakness. Shoulder bursitis or tendonitis. This one is one of those kind of like fragile injuries. If it's not healed properly, it can tend to just linger on. The person may have shoulder stiffness, a feeling of swelling, range of motion may be painful. They have a nighttime pain that's affected on when they're lying on the affected side, or they may have a sharp or pinching pain, especially if they're pulling their shoulder overhead. For the Achilles tendonitis, you see this a lot in runners. The symptoms of this one can linger on if exacerbated. So if they let it heal, but then they're running uphill or on sand, something that's more strenuous, then they'll tend to have a reoccurring of the symptoms. The symptoms are pain in the heel along the length of the tendon when walking or running. They have pain and stiffness in the area in the morning, pain in the tendon when it's touched or moved, and then swelling and warmth. So for wrist and elbow tendonitis, I don't know if you see these patients like tennis elbow sometimes. This one is usually a chronic injury from overuse or overgripping. They can have pain on the outside of the elbow when they try to straighten or pull their elbow. For the hamstring pulls, these ones you can tell happens really acutely. It's like a sharp shooting pain in the back of the thigh. I myself injured my hamstring. It wasn't fun. Trying to do a split one time when I thought I was in shape. So I've had that injury ever since. So I use some of the remedies I'm going to mention later. But this one you have, you know, it's caused from exploding injuries like sprinting, jumping, where there's a high demand on the hamstring. Also, knee injuries are pretty common, where the patella, which is the kneecap, is often a source of pain. A lot of sports injuries have patellar injuries, and this one is usually the pain is at the patella tendon, which is right below the kneecap. And this one is kind of a long-term injury as well. So in general, some other injuries that can be caused or be common are muscle strains and sprains, ankle sprains, shin splits, hip injuries, cartilage tears, and then injuries to the hands, fingers, and wrists are pretty common. Next slide. So we always want to kind of mention prevention strategies for ourselves, for our families, for our patients. Warming up and stretching before and after is really important. Foam rollers are that thing that you hate but you love at the same time because it really hurts, but it really works. You want to practice your form, get rest, stay hydrated, pay attention, and eat well. You don't want to be this guy. Next slide. And it's a video, if you can just push play in the middle. Work.
Sorry, I just have to unmute. There we go.
Mufasa. Hmm? Oh my God! You better kill it! You better kill it! Show me something! 5, 6, 7, 8! Go, 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 go! Come on, Mufasa! Hey! Come on, Mufasa! Hey!
So next slide. So you don't want to be that guy. So make sure you're stretching and using your remedies, right? If it does
That was
happen,
so
then we'll
funny.
use our remedies. Next slide.
Show me something.
No, next slide.
Oh, it went backwards. Okay, let me try this again.
You have to push one more time
One more time.
and it'll go.
Okay.
Okay. So can anyone tell me what are some of the remedies? I chose 3 remedies that we can use for a gym bag for injuries like this. I don't know if we're chatting or.
Why don't you guys put it in the chat? What would be good?
Someone said arnica, that's definitely a good one. Simp if there's broken bones, ruta, yes. Any other ones, especially for the hamstring pull with the nerves? Okay, yes. So basically everyone mentioned all the remedies I'm going to show. Can you click again? And click one more time. So I chose Arnica montana, Hypericum perforatum, and Ruta graveolens. Next slide. So going in some of the uses and key notes of the remedy, we know arnica can have a wide range of uses acutely, but we can use it for bruising, swelling, post-op. Did I do that? Maybe I'm able to control. No, I didn't do that. Anyways, post-workout recovery for sprains is good for the inflammation. Also from anything from a blunt injury or instrument. The sphere of actions focus on the muscles, tendons, bones, and central nervous systems. And you can also use it for concussions or contusions. I've used arnica in a 30C potency or higher. Usually for my son, I have a toddler too, like similar to Martina. He runs around and hits himself, and I mean, just all kind of injuries. I swear arnica is like magic. As soon as it touches his tongue, he stops crying and he's like on to the next thing. So it's been very good for us. Next slide. Hypericum, this one is the one that is used for unbearable shooting and jabbing pain. So this is the one I use most for my chronic hamstring injury. It works wonders because I used to have to use, like Motrin for 3, 4, 5 days. And sometimes I take 1 or 2 doses of Hypericum and I'm good to go. So injuries with the spinal cord, treading on nails, it prevents lockjaw, it's good for tetanus. It's good for crushing, smashed fingertips. And I have used this one for 30C and 200C potencies as well for those acute and chronic injuries. Next slide. So Ruta, some of the key notes here, is good for strains of the ligaments and joints. It's good for those tendon injuries. It focuses on the periosteum, sciatica, so those lower back injuries, overuse or overstrained. So a lot of the chronic injuries are good for Ruta. When I did my research, there were a lot of comparisons between Ruta and Restox because of the similarity in modalities, but the affinities are different. So Restox tends to act more on the muscle and Ruta seems to act more on the periosteum, which are those ligaments, tendons, and things like that. So both can be useful. Next slide. So in summary, all 3 remedies can be used, most used for all the common injuries I mentioned here. It's important to review the symptoms of our patients, as we know, to make the patient recommendation. And then I just listed a bunch of other remedies that I found in my research. And that is the end. Next slide is any questions.
Well done, you did it.
I made it on time with all the stuff.
I love the comparing comparison of Ruta and Restox. That was really great. Well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any quick burning questions for LaToya? That was really great.
I thought it was wonderful. No question though.
Great information. Very thorough.
All right, let's congratulate LaToya. Well done, LaToya. Great job.
Good job. Very helpful.